Check it out, Casper!
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Casper here, and welcome to Rebalance, the series where we're looking at some of TF2's most underpowered, overpowered, underused, and overused weapons. We're going to be looking at why these weapons have those aforementioned classifications, and also, together, trying to work out a way to give those weapons the ever so coveted status of fair and balanced. And we're kicking off this new series with a real zinger. The RedTape Recorder. When the RedTape Recorder was first added to the game, the community was ready. Ready for the spy to finally have a new sapper and for the engineer spy meta to be blown wide open. Just how would the engineer cope with this brand new threat? Except that never really happened, especially after the recorder was nerfed. Even though Spy has only one option for the sapper other than the RedTape Recorder, i.e. the default, if that one option is better in almost every single way, then the choice of sapper is pretty much made for you. So, the idea behind the RedTape Recorder is that rather than directly damage or destroy a sentry gun, it slowly reduces its level. So even if the engineer does remove the sapper, he's probably going to be left with a less powerful sentry, and then he's got to spend some time and metal to re-upgrade it. This is a good idea for a game called Team Fortress 2, where everyone in every game ever always plays consciously as a team. Yeah. In reality, that rarely happens, but the underlying thought here is that the spy will level down the sentry, and even if the engineer does remove the recorder, there's an opportunity for the teammates, for example the heavy, the soldier, the demo man, to move in against the sentry gun and take it out before it can do enough damage to kill them due to the fact that it's now a lower level. Now of course this is definitely something which can happen. In reality though, the amount of situations where the level of the sentry is the one reason that your demo man can't destroy it are going to be few and far between. And if the sentry setup, for example a 6-engineer pub server nest, is such that you need a spy to go in there and start disabling stuff, then it's the fact that the spy is disabling stuff which is going to be what allows the damage classes to go in and destroy the sentries. And even in that situation, then the damage output from the regular sapper is probably going to help you more than the leveling down aspect of the RedTape Recorder. So let's take a look at some raw numbers. Assuming we wanted to destroy a sentry or a dispenser, just how much longer will it take us with the recorder at the various levels? As you can see from the clips in the background, it takes considerable amount longer to fully destroy a building with the recorder than it does with the regular sapper. In some cases, it takes nearly 3 times as long. So, if your objective is to destroy a sentry gun, for example, then you certainly don't want to use the recorder. Its main use is actually more to annoy the engineer, to force him to keep using up metal to re-upgrade his buildings. The best place for this weapon is probably on King of the Hill maps like Viaduct, where there aren't many ammo crates, and the team will often rely on a dispenser or teleporter near the capture point, meaning that leveling down buildings is a legitimate strategy as it becomes difficult for the engineer to re-upgrade, and destroying it completely isn't as important. However, in the vast majority of scenarios, the benefit of leveling down a building is to distract the engineer long enough for your team to move in and take down the reduced level buildings. But as I mentioned earlier, if your team is coordinated enough to act upon the sapping of a sentry, then they're probably better off taking advantage of the damage caused by the regular sapper. Yes, there may be a slightly larger window of opportunity with the RedTape Recorder while the engineer has to go get metal to re-upgrade, but we're talking a matter of 5 or 6 seconds here. In most situations, it's not going to be worth it, especially if you're working in a coordinated team. The RedTape Recorder is a tool designed to annoy engineers, but it's not currently very good at actually helping the spy or his team in as much of an impactful way as the regular sapper is. So the fun part, balance ideas. The whole premise of this weapon is the downgrade mechanic, and I think it's important that that premise stays, otherwise we may as well just create a new weapon entirely. For this reason, whatever balance change that we think of needs to make the downgrading of buildings more useful. So here's some of my personal ideas. Number 1. After removing the RedTape Recorder, a building is now more difficult to upgrade for a short amount of time. For example, maybe the building requires twice as much metal to upgrade during the next 5 seconds. Or, a slight variation on this idea could be that the building simply cannot be upgraded at all for the next 5 seconds. So the builder can still dispense, teleport, or shoot at its new reduced level. However, the engineer is not able to progress it back to the original level for a short amount of time. Number 2. Could be that the RedTape Recorder takes an extra amount of hits to be removed. For example, 3 or 4 swings from an engineer and 2 from the power jack. Or perhaps a completely new mechanic where it actually can be removed by any class. However, instead of requiring 2 melee hits, it's actually got HP. HP enough so that on average, it takes longer to remove. However, any nearby friendly player can remove it, either via melee or even from range damage. Number 3, a completely separate idea again, is to return the recorder back to what it was originally, where it almost instantly downgraded a building. But instead of taking it from a, for example, level 3 down to a level 2 with 0 metal, it could instead start to drain metal at a rate of 25 or maybe 50 per second or whatever it might be. So it would go down to a level 2 quite quickly, but it would be a level 2 with 150 metal. This means that the attacking team still gets the benefit of the level down building, but as long as the engineer is attentive, he's there to remove the sapper, then he doesn't get screwed over quite so badly, as removing the sapper early means it will only take 50 metal to re-upgrade it. Of course, balancing is an extremely sensitive task, and even if any of these ideas is, for a fact, objectively better than the current one, then it would still take hours of playtesting and value tweaking to get a perfectly balanced weapon, if there is such a thing. So I'm by no means trying to claim that my ideas above are perfect, but they're definitely alterations which maybe, potentially, could, possibly, definitely maybe work. There are 2 things I would love to hear from you guys. What are your ideas for the RedTape Recorder to make it more useful as a side grade to the regular sapper? And 2, what weapon shall we cover next time? It doesn't have to be underpowered or underused. It could be one that's stupidly strong or annoyingly spammed. As always, guys, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new series. If you haven't subscribed already, the link will be on the screen right now. Just click on the circle logo. No matter what device you're on, it should work. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.
If that ain't fair, I don't